to me, exercising is kind of the opposite of that. Like if you train your body to be better, you'll want to pursue the world or your environment better anyways. So it's like almost like this feedback loop.
Yeah, it's like two-pronged attack.
Yeah, or like a yin yang kind of thing, right? So that's the whole thing. So he's about how the mind and the body, how you perceive your environment and then perceive yourself. I'm about like, hey, how you treat your body can change your perception towards the external.
That's that kind of falls in line with how we should see the fight, in that I don't care what the other guy's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that as far as what I'm trying to do is, let's say, knock him on his ass. But obviously he's not going to make it that easy. He's not just going to stand there and say, okay, go ahead, knock me on my ass. He's going to resist every which way he can, which means he'll do whatever he's going to do, pull out a knife, pull out a stick, whatever he's got, right? But he's going to go at that. My mindset is, I don't care about that. I'm looking at my immediate goal is to knock you on your ass. Like you were saying, you know, if you perceive the world to be a certain way, you have to follow that route. You can't change it. Oh, okay, I'll allow this, but I won't allow that. Oh, I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do that. You just do. No matter what else is around you, you're just going to do. Here's how I'm going to make the world better for me by walking this path, and here I go. Things come up, which they will.
Always.
Then I'll take care of it and then move on with my original goal. Right? So when he throws that punch and I'm trying to get to his head, well, I have to get around this punch. So I'll pair it out maybe. Then I'll go for the head. Oh, something else comes up, he blocks that. Great, I'll take this, and I keep going. So I don't care what he does. I understand he's going to do something, the changes that he talks about.
The acceptance.
Right?
Yeah.
Something changed. This changed. Now I got to shift my butt, my feet, whatever I need to change. But my ultimate goal is still to keep going to that initial target that I have. Now, with what you're saying, as far as if your goal is to make this a better world or a better planet for you to be able to walk through, you're right. You have to be physically able to do that.
Yes.
And if you're not, then you're not going to meet that goal. There's no way, because one, maybe you have a bad leg. Well, you have to work on that leg first to be able to walk, or blah, blah, whatever the case is. But once you get that fixed or take the care of that punch, then you start moving forward again.
Right.
And then next blockage come in, take care of that, and you move forward. So it falls along the same lines of what you're saying, and I love that idea. It's like you're putting it on a global level, whereas we're putting it out to the individual and saying, here's how you have to see this fight. Because a lot of people who think differently than we do, that's not their goal. Their goal is to just try to win that fight. We don't try to win the fight. We just try to survive the fight.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at it.
Big
Yeah,
difference.
huge difference. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're just there to survive, doesn't mean you have to kill the guy, because that's winning, right? That's the ultimate thing. But I don't feel like going to jail. I'm just going to do what I can to survive, to be able to go home and be with my family. But if I go beyond that, then am I not just as bad as that guy who's trying to get me? Then didn't I just lower myself to become an asshole and do that? Why don't I just say, hey, boom, get out, and I'll take off. I'll run from a fight if I have to.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing I ever want to do is get into a fight. But I know that when I'm there, I'm not going to just go for the kill every time. That's not in my nature.
So I have a question. How do you prepare your clients for that inevitable bump in the road?
So I kind of share a little bit about my philosophy. Like, I have a very interesting relationship with failure.
Really? All right.
Yes, I'm not afraid of it. So it's funny, I always kind of tell them, like, yeah, just wing it. Like, because so like, it's funny because it's like,
I like this.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen. Just
Right.
like, well, we know what we need to do, right? You're going in there with this perception of like, well, what happens if something bad happens? It's like, well, you won't know, right? Was it saying like, I think Michael Jordan had something like that. Like every 3-pointer is missed if you never take the shot,
Right,
or something like
right.
that. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And the way I explain that to people, I said there is no such thing as if. Because if you keep going well, he could have done this. Well, what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't?
You're going to miss the opportunity to do something.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and so you're always.
that's the defeatist attitude. I've always felt that whenever you say, well, what if? Well, that's just dumb.
Yeah, exactly. It's
If
more like
you let what if stop you, then you're not moving forward.
agree. I think like hesitation is the enemy in progression, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I kind of just tell them like, yeah, just wing it. And way more often than not, the they overcome that objection or the opposition.
Right.
So a lot of times it's just kind of, you do that almost like in like micro doses. And then as more and more you do it, they just become more voluntary to do it, as opposed to like, oh, here's this little bump in the road.
Right.
Am I going to be able to do this? Like, Mark just always said, just wing it. Let's see what happens. Bam, right? And you just do it. And you're going to be way, way more successful than not if you just do it.
You're more often than not going to overcome.
And even if you aren't successful, then now you know what not to do the next time.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I have a very interesting relationship with failure.
That is
in that
success,
sense.
though, in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even the failures are successes because
Exactly.
you will have learned something from your failures.
Right?
So how did you become so personable with failure?
I failed a lot. What do you
No, no, but we want to know, well, what were some of the big ones that you think really kind of shaped you in that way in your life?
He was supposed to be 5'7", but
Yeah,
obviously
and then
that
you're
didn't
like,
work out.
Oh,
we just
stay
fucking-
short.
I'm just gonna
5'2"
stay
is a good
here.
In
number.
8th grade, he was like, why are you guys still growing?
Yeah. No, I actually, for me, it was like sophomore year. I was I'm a super late bloomer. It was
I
so
never
maybe
bloomed,
that's
so-
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, we're Asians.
Yeah, exactly.
I always do that at work, right? Somebody says, okay, I have to reach for something. I go, like, they'll be in a car and I have to, like, do a thermometer check on them, right? And they'll stick their hand out like this. I said, dude, I'm Asian. So I think, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So now they have to extend. It's
Yeah,
like,
let me
come on,
unbuckle my belt
dude?
here.
Yeah,
reach
God
out.
damn it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm Asian. You can't reach that.
All right,
Totally
so
get it.
height was one of them, I guess.
So heights actually made it so that that kind of wing it attitude. It's like, well, if I can't reach it, well, just fucking try. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
okay, don't worry
just,
about it.
Just try.
It's not good for kids.
Yeah. So that was one of my things. But I mean, in terms of like failure, also, it's really interesting. So I think like back to like my childhood quite a bit. And so up until like 8th grade, I got bullied quite a bit, kind of relating to the height thing. And then 8th grade came around, and my mom had a friend. She did like Taekwondo, and she was like, "Hey, you want to try doing like a free class?" I'm like, "Screw it, wing it, right? Just do it. Just do it. See what happens." And it's funny, in class, I was pushing my body as hard as I freaking could because I've been watching everyone around me just doing like, they can touch the toes and do these stretches and they're shouting. I'm like, well, I'm screwed. I'm just going to force my body to do these things that just never done before.
Right.
And
Didn't dawn on you at your first class.
No, I'm just like, I got to keep up with these people.
None of that mattered.
Yeah.
Manly.
But I remember when I got done, I was incredibly sore. And there was something about that soreness where I'm just like, okay. So I'm pretty sure a lot of these people went through the same thing, and clearly I suck at it, but it's like, all right, I'm going to kind of like embrace this soreness that I'm feeling right now. And this is like 8th grade, so I'm just kind of like, all right, I'm going to keep going. Like I kind of like where it put me mentally.
Wow.
And so martial arts was kind of the catalyst to all my, I guess you can say, my philosophies in life. So I started
That's
with
why he
Taekwondo.
was excited about saying, oh, you guys do Kali or martial arts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the mindset it puts me in. It puts me in a tremendous amount of laser-like focus. And so like even with martial arts that are very, very physical, like like I wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where you're gonna probably be like choked out or like in a position where like, oh, that really hurts. There's something about that where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that never happens again. So it's that failure aspect of like, oh, I got hit, like you talk about getting your ass beat or
Right.
whatever, put on the ground. It's like, okay, what can I do to never make sure that never happens again?
Right.
So there's an interesting relationship with that, where with failure, and I don't think a lot of people, there's a stigma of failure, right? Where people are
Right.
like, they fear it, so they don't want it, and it's like, no, you should embrace it. Like it's going to happen in life. So
Whether you want to or not.
yeah, exactly. Whether you want to or not, make sure you're learning from it.
Right.
So 8th grade was part of that, and then of course, for me as I got older, I did wrestling. I did a little bit of Muay Thai, I did a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and going from wrestling to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was a huge transition for me too.
Yeah,
because,
it's totally different than what people
'cause-
think.
yeah,
A
because
lot of people
wrestling.
think the same. They think, oh, yeah, they're both rolling on the... No.
No, it's not.
Nowhere near.
I'm completely humbled by Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So like in wrestling, the goal is to pin them on the shoulders and stuff like that, and you have these holds and grabs. And one of the things I liked about wrestling very well is like how to shoot in. Yeah. So shooting in, defense on shooting in, on people who are shooting in is really great. But like how you pin and make someone lose is completely different. So like for the longest time, it was like, in wrestling, you want to get on your stomach to get back up. But you don't want to do that in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You go on your stomach,
Really
bam,
make
you're
a
going to get a
choke,
chokehold,
yeah.
you're gone. I'm like, oh my, you go, okay. And so it took me actually a while to actually get that out of my head. Like,
why they call
get
it
comfortable.
rolling.
Yeah, get comfortable on your back. Like, it's not
Right.
going to be, it's almost like this intimate setting where like, okay, I need to figure out this puzzle that this person is trying to complete on me, but I need to stop them from completing it, and I need to try to find a way to complete my puzzle and make sure they don't do theirs, kind of thing. Like that's
I
the way
thought you meant intimate, like a dude straddled on top of you, intimate. But I
mean,
get what you're saying.
don't get me wrong. I mean, if they end up like if they end up like choking me and dry humping me out of like humility, like all right, you win, you get it, all right, that may happen. like,
It's a good thing kids don't watch this show.
Because I'm one of those a-holes too. Like, if I get you to react to a hole, like, yo, you got to.
Oh, okay, see, I was on the money then. I was on the money.
Like, you lost.
Take it like a man. Take it like a man.
But yeah, so that's what it is.
We're not doing that.
Yeah. But so that's what it is. For me, it's just kind of dealing with my ass beatings all throughout life, and
But those are the best beatings.
yeah, oh yeah, it
I
totally.
remember, my younger days, and I got beat up by a girl, and I'm like, yay, but I didn't like it, but I realized I needed that to happen. I was so glad that it happened. I talk about it all the time. Yeah, I got beat up by a girl, and it releases a lot of anxiety that you have about fighting.
Like you said, it's humbling.
Yeah, it
Which
really is.
a lot of people are really, really missing in their lives is
Yeah.
that humility. Oh, wow, I just got my ass knocked down.
But an old man.
But I need to get up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I need to get back up.
And that's the hardest part, is realizing that you have to get back up
Right.
Yep.
and
Right.
go again.
I totally agree. Right.
When I first got into a car accident, my car flipped over. I swear to God, for the longest time, I didn't want to get in the car. And that's why I drive the way I drive. My car rolled on the freeway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for a couple of days, I didn't want to drive. And then somebody said, dude, you just got to get back in there. You got to do it. And I was very reluctant. But then now I drive, because before the accident, I didn't like putting on seatbelts back in those days, right? Nobody did. I got in an accident after that one. I'm like, fuck that, I'm buckling up every time. I mean, it was just weird that when you go through something that traumatic, it's either going to make or break you.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that, right? I mean, that failure sometimes could be the end of it. That's it. You never get up. You never leave your house. You stay home, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be that few percent of people that just says, fuck it, that's okay. I lived. Let me go forward. And then see what life has. And,
That's the genius, though, of what he's teaching. Because he said, and I love that you use the phrase microdosing. You give them these little bits of failure that they can overcome themselves. And when they do, they get that confidence like, oh, I
now
can
I can,
keep
yeah,
going.
yeah.
And they're less likely to quit when something else comes up because they're like, oh, I did it before, I can do it again. And then it just
Yes.
repeats the process. And to invoke in that in your clients and to make that a part of your teaching, to me, is going to get your results.
Yes. Yeah, I think it definitely works way more so in the long run, right?
Right.
Like a lot of people, of course, in my field, right, want the fast answer. It's like, no, because most likely you're going to regress in some way or another, and then
Right.
and you won't be able to handle the amount of discipline it takes to get there in the first place.
What have I taught you about that?
So
That's
don't know,
why
listening.
our progression has always been that I'm going to teach you the stupidest, silliest, dumbest, easiest thing before I give you this incredible stuff that you are going to need. After 7 years, I'm just now giving him the good stuff.
Yeah, the lesson
You
we
know.
just had, yeah.
But prior to that, I said, you wouldn't have understood this if I told you this 2-3 years ago. This would have never even crossed your mind. You would never get it. You'd probably give up because you didn't have all the other things behind it.
yeah,
Right.
your foundation was still need to be built upon, and that's the last thing you want to do is build a great big house on crappy foundation, right?
How do you develop that foundation in your clients?
So I always do it kind of like I mentioned before, like microdosing. So you kind of start with like these little steps. It's like, okay, cool, let's focus on portion control. Eat whatever you want, right? Because obviously nutrition plays a role in any fitness goal.
Right,
Eat whatever you want, but now we're going to focus on portion control. All right, now let's get a little more in depth. Okay, let's focus on your macros, so your proteins, fats, and carbs. So still eat whatever you want, focus on your portion control, but now let's try to hit these particular numbers. Okay, so how's that reacting with your body? Okay, cool. Now let's focus on what to eat. So now we can start focusing on like, okay, well, maybe you probably should have more vegetables. Maybe you should have more fruit. Maybe you should probably have a little more meat. Hey, the way based on your goal, you probably should have more white meat than dark meat. Things like that. So now you start focusing on what.
Dude, I'd have to kill you after 2 weeks.
Well, let me read it.
Microdosing.
Yeah, microdosing. So you don't deliver all that at once, but I usually like to give about a 4 to 6 week period for them to like dabble in this. It's like, all right, let's do this for next 4 to 6 weeks.
Can we give them a 6-month trial because
6 months.
We can do that. We can do like start with 3. 3 is
No,
usually.
believe it or not, I kind of do something like that. I used to be a lot heavier than this. I lost 20 pounds.
pie face?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I had this before and after pictures. Oh my God. It's
crazy.
People are like, dude, you look like a pumpkin over here. And now you look like it's like, yeah, that was me, right? But what I realized is that just cutting my food in half.
Yep. Yeah. So just portion control aspect,
Yeah,
right?
and then I'll do the physical stuff that I do with teaching, Now we get on a treadmill every day for about an hour. But that lost me 20 pounds. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. It is possible.
See,
Yeah.
now we need to get into the
To the micromanaging of
the,
Yeah,
the
so-
amounts. The amounts.
The
of,
amounts
I like
of
food
each,
too much, buddy.
right?
Sorry.
Yeah, same here, man. That's I'm a fat kid in this little body, and so
wait. Oh, you meant metaphorically. Okay.
Metaphorically,
Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
'Cause I was like,
I don't want.
you put a medium-sized supreme pizza in front of me. I'm like, sorry, guys, it's all mine. But
Oh,
we're not taking you to lunch then.
Yeah, we
I
were
have
gonna,
a
but
stick. We're gonna.
yeah, I'll give you half a carrot.
oh,
Cake.
go hold on.
Give me
That's
some
the carrot
cake.
cake. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
just
some
thought
carrot
it was like Starbucks there. Yeah.
Mm.
Last time I checked that, it was cranberry bliss bars. I'm a sucker for those.
Are you married?
Yes, I am. I am married. I've been married going on. Well, yeah. This year will be our 2nd year.
All right. Stop hitting on him then.
Yeah, dude.
I'm married.
Look at
By
those-
the way, it's my 20th anniversary.
those
Thank you very much.
soft eyes.
I know, right? He's
Yeah,
giving you a
right.
little
Just
twinkle, a
fucking little twinkle.
See his
I like the
eyebrow
glasses.
raise every
That's
once in a
fine.
while.
I like
Yeah,
the
it's the
glasses.
glasses. Is that what
It's
it
the
is?
Clark Kent
Glasses,
look,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
It's all
yeah.
right.
You're like, ooh, let me see your S.
Yeah. What?
S on your chest.
Oh, the ass. I said
Superman.
ass.
Not ass.
I was
S.
like,
S.
how do you go
the
this
letter
and this,
S.
baby? You hear me?
Clark
Gosh.
Kent, Superman.
Be afraid to
Dude,
date
Why
you.
was
In
S
this
on the
show,
side?
we talk about so much stuff, but we don't talk about a damn thing.
Yeah.
We just go all over the place.
We were just gonna cut your segment to just the smart sounding stuff.
Smart and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, we're not. We're gonna put everything.
everything's,
Awesome.
everything
I appreciate
stays.
it.
See, you made him uncomfortable. You took off
Do
his
you
glasses.
have? I'm going to give you a chance to do a shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
And
Shameless
just
plug?
Say,
Yeah. Your business. Tell
Where's
them.
your business? Numbers, emails, or whatever you want to get.
Yeah, of course.
To have people.
All right, you guys. My name is Mark Monay. If you guys want to find me, you want to email me, you can email me at onyourmark.fit@gmail.com. If you're trying to find me on Instagram, it's onyourmark.fit. On Facebook, it's OYM Worldwide. Soon, we just recently got our first TikTok, so I'm pretty stoked
Oh.
about that. I got to do that another one later on tonight, so I'm shaking my ass for that one because that's all TikTok is, right? It's all fitness and,
Yeah.
and dancing.
Yeah,
I don't know if
pretty
you
much.
call that fitness, dude. I think people are just trying to show off.
Low angles and
Yep.
do some squats and
Dude.
some tight shorts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see the girl's face, like at all.
Exactly. I think they're just trying to show off their body.
Like, why are you wearing those kind of pants?
Yeah.
Unnecessary. You could have done that in jeans. We get it. You know? So,
Dude, I'm serious. That's all you ever see. It's like the porn site is down, you go to TikTok.
Right. Right.
yeah.
Don't do the silhouette challenge though.
I want to do the silhouette challenge, but I was going to have my own little spiel to it. Like, I'm not necessarily showing off my body. I just kind of, I like, it's funny. I like showing off more what I can do than what my body looks like.
There you go.
So that's
Yeah,
my
but
thing.
when you do that, you do without a shirt, so you kind of showing off the body too. Again, I've seen some of your videos.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook. You're shirtless, dude. How is that not showing off your body?
As long as you don't see my face, we're good.
Oh,
Do you remember seeing my face at all? I don't
you
remember.
know what? I don't actually. Even when
you-
you were doing push-ups, like I think it was at an angle.
it was at an
you were
angle where I'm
at
kinda like-
decline.
So,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
on,
decline.
so online, he looks like he's like 5'7" and all
Oh,
butted
wow,
up.
You know what? I honestly, when I saw him, I was like, huh, I thought he was taller.
Oh, man. That's what I'm telling you. It's all those power shots. You got to get from down here, baby. That's what Tom Cruise does. So I got
I'm
to.
telling you, that's what it is. It's
You
like-
saw that too?
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
it's like-
okay. I was just making sure.
well, yeah, when we walked up, I was like, that can't be him.
Yeah, it's me. Sorry. Yeah, I like that. People think I'm taller.
Ah, there you go. Yeah. What?
Yeah. It makes me less intimidating too.
Oh.
You know?
Well, it is true.
Okay.
It kind of diffuses
show just
people.
went to hell.
Yeah. Wait, we were doing something? Oh, hi.
Talk about something. I don't know what it was.
So where are you 5 years from now with all this stuff?
Yeah,
Where do you,
what
where
do
do
you
you
see
expect to
yourself?
be?
So I would like. So I want to work with other companies, to be quite honest, with what we do. So one of the things. So there's a company out there called Viome. Shout out. And what Viome does is they actually do testing of like your gut health. And so one of the things, of course, we've been moving on with the fitness industry is, understanding how important gut health is for the human body and how it promotes bioavailability, which just means how well your body absorbs nutrients, And so what Biome does is they're a company where you just send them a sample, particularly a stool sample, sorry, and but they can tell you pretty much like what your body likes and what it doesn't like.
Wow.
And so imagine figuring that kind of stuff out, and then be like, okay, well, now we can make a health plan accordingly.
No, I'm interested.
Yeah,
No,
no.
and I don't have questions. I want to try it. I mean, I don't want to poop in a bag, but
You know, I don't think it's like an old school like
They just need
crap
a
in
smear.
a crap in a
Just,
paper
just
bag.
send them one
and
of your, just send them one of your underwears.
yeah.
Hey,
oh,
baby wipes, very
wipes.
important.
legit, very true.
Flushable ones.
Yeah.
There's no such thing. If they don't dissolve, even if you can flush them, it's not good to flush them. PSA, people, do not flush. Even if it says flushable, you can flush golf balls. That doesn't mean they'll dissolve in there.
Golf balls. He's tried.
He's tried several times.
He's tried like golf balls.
He just did that last week.
Yeah. You should title this.
Oh well, my building has a soup, so we're good.
But so
wait, collaboration.
Yeah, collaboration. So I want to collaborate with some other companies and stuff like that to really promote health.
Shooting the shit.
And
We're gonna name your show something funny.
but so yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
I started to think of a name for his episode, and it was gonna be like it was be a wing it, right?
Yeah.
Just wing it.
But now we're gonna talk about shit or something.
Yeah, we really did just wing it. You know that, right?
Shoot the shit. Question mark.
Okay,
There you go.
we have a
Shoot the
title
shit.
for your episode. Shoot the shit.
Take it. People are looking at it like that's clickbaity. I'll take
Yeah,
that.
I was like, whoa, yeah. What's this
out.
about?
So awesome.
Okay, so wait. So you actually throw a bag, so it's just a swab up there.
I'm
and then
pretty sure
just-
it's like a swab.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
you said the swab, right? But
Yeah.
but working with like companies like that where we can understand more so about the human body, so that we can actually adequately, make the meal plan, how they should work out accordingly.
Wow, you sound like mom upstairs, dude. Whenever I was telling her, I kind of was right. She goes, all right, make me a list of everything you eat, no matter how minute or how weird it is. Just write it all down.
I had
right?
4 peanuts.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I
Yeah, he
can't.
quit after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After she asked me to write something down, I couldn't even get the writing done. So I was like, never mind.
Yeah, and so I think the other thing I want to collaborate with is like a hematologist or something like that, because I want to. One of the things we're realizing with nutrition is how it affects the hormones. So if you don't know how the human body works in a sense, right? Ooh, okay. Does that mean almost time's up? Yeah,
Keep going.
Keep going.
no,
All right.
No,
No worries.
we don't care.
So one of the things is what eating and exercising does is it manipulates your body's hormones. So if your hormones are out of whack, then it almost kind of doesn't matter what you put in and how you work out if your hormones are out of whack.
You're never going to see the change.
Right. So like it's a funny expression, but have you heard of like a fat vegetarian? Like they're
Right.
out there, right? So what is it about their diet that would make them have their body have this almost like adverse effect? So there's things like that, or
Yeah, it's a big thing. That's why people, when they're changing their diet, they recommend you fast first, so you can kind of clear out the system before so you can see what actually affects you positively
Yep.
and what doesn't.
Yep, exactly. So you kind of start like with like almost like an elimination type diet, and then you
Right.
kind of re-enter food slowly but surely to kind of figure out like, okay, I seem to have an effect with this, an effect with that. But in the end,
Yeah.
hormones drive all that.
Right.
So hormones drive how well you develop muscle, how well your body burns fats, how your body reacts to food that it intakes. And so the better understanding we have of our bodies in terms of hormones, then that in itself, you can adequately make a meal plan according to that. So that's
So in essence, if this becomes a regular thing, we don't actually need genetic modification. Rather, we just need to understand
How our bodies
from a baby's age how their bodies react to certain foods, and then just direct their diet the whole way through.
yeah, but of course, keep in mind due to environment, outside environment, stuff like that. And
No, of course.
the body's going to change,
We're
right?
far from that, yeah.
But yeah, so it may not be in a matter of like, genetically modifying yourself. It's just more like, hey, well, I just realized my body seems to work with this now, and it seems to have these effects on me. Okay, cool, and I can work out in this manner, and that seems the best way for me to get the results I want.
I'll be test subject.
Yeah, same here. I'm
Well,
down.
clarify something for me, because that sounds all well and good, but if I'm eating a pizza, right, the pizza affects me the same way a hamburger does or anything else, because I don't know what I'm looking for as far as what was an effect. How do you determine what is an effect from that food, or anything else for that matter?
So there's a couple things
Because this sounds cool, but
Yeah.
how does a pizza know that it's going to affect my my butt cheeks are not. I mean,
Yeah. So like,
yeah.
so the easiest way to the easiest way to manipulate like composition change is insulin response.
Okay.
So if you have high insulin responses towards certain things, maybe that's something you should be mindful and be careful of. And of course, we've already made blood tests related to that, right? So for those who are diabetic, you can just go boop and like check your sugar levels and all that stuff like that. But we can probably, I would assume, figure out those kind of things as well in terms of like cortisol levels. We already know we can do it with testosterone levels, estrogen levels. So we can actually do our blood work accordingly. And we know that the human body changes as it ages. So just kind of figuring out those numbers, I think would be incredibly beneficial in terms of like how do you provide a meal plan that adequately goes with where your body's at.
Yeah, puts you on track.
Hormonally. Yeah. So
that just sounds crazy.
Well, but it makes sense.
No, I mean,
you
I
take
get
a
it,
blood
but again,
sample.
it's like how many, and I'm just thinking of the masses of people who obviously aren't doing that or have no clue about that, because I've seen guys who try to go to the diet and they lose weight and you're like, yeah, and then about a month or two later, they're right back,
Or
if
twice
not
as big.
there or before, even more than what they started with.
yeah.
And we hear that a lot. We talked with Kira. She's like, I don't like those diets because, And then we hear from Mom,
Right.
And she's like, no, everything is bad, da, 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 da. But you hear all these different things. And what makes this different than those other things that we hear? Keto diets.
Have you not been paying attention?
No.
So
because I want people to understand it's not, none of these things are hit and miss,
No,
right?
it's in
it's all just,
conjunction with.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. Remember, I'm an idiot here. I'm
Yeah,
just trying-
because that just gives you the roadmap of which way to go. But then
Of
the
which way to go,
process
right.
then becomes just cut your meals in half or portion control.
Yeah.
And then after a few weeks of getting adapted to that, you add the types of foods
Right.
that you eat and so on and so forth.
But and again, because I've been kind of me, I that's basically what I do. I don't
Right.
eat a lot of food.
You still
I'll
eat a lot of the wrong foods.
Yeah, I eat like maybe a scoop of rice, and
Oh.
and sometimes I don't even do that. But I eat what I want to eat, but I just don't eat
less
a lot of
yeah.
it.
Okay.
I'm very careful about giving away half my food all the time.
You get full faster too
Yeah,
because your stomach
because my
probably
stomach
shrunk.
is,
Gotcha, gotcha.
So, and for me, that seems to work. But now you're saying, okay, now that you've done that part of it,